Hey guys, Seven here, and I'm actually super excited that I now have a resin 3D printer. And a wash and cure station to go with it. So as you can see, they are of the same brand, which is ANYCUBIC. So this will just be a first impressions / quick review video of the ANYCUBIC Photon M3 and their wash and cure station. And what's funny is the foam padding that came from ANYCUBIC's packaging. This goes at the top of the printer and it has this smiling face on it. So this is the ANYCUBIC Photon M3. Its, I would say, most defining feature is that it has a 4K monochrome resolution screen. So that 4K resolution screen is very nice to have, especially when you're planning on printing figures. I'll just display on the screen. So here are the other details of the Photon M3. So let's quickly check out the things included in the box. So for the resin printer, we have the tinted cover, the power supply. I think these are gloves, but I already have my own nitrile gloves. More cables, some screws, I don't know what for. And then we have funnels, and then a scraper for the build plate, some Allen wrenches. So we have a plastic and a metal scraper. So this is for the vat, which I will show you in a bit, and then the metal scraper for the build plate. We have a spare screen protector for the printer. I think it goes here, and then a manual and a USB, which should contain the slicer tool and a sample STL file so that we can do a test print. Okay, so this is the vat. And then here is the build plate. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now we will look at the contents of the wash and cure station. We also have a tinted cover. So we have the curing station, which has these LEDs. And then we have this thing. So inside this small box is its own power supply. And then we have, of course, the container for the alcohol to wash the resin print. And then we have this lifting basket, a manual. At the bottom of the container, there's this blade that will spin and it will help you circulate the alcohol to properly wash the resin prints. Okay, so I assume that this goes at the bottom for the curing process, and I almost missed this small box at the bottom. It has this tray, I don't know what for yet. And then we have this platform which should go here. While these LEDs are on, this one will spin around. And you also get more Allen wrenches and a fidget spinner. Okay, so here's a closer look of the printer itself. So it's got this touchscreen. Over here, the power switch and the USB port will be on the right side. So if you're facing it directly in front, it will be on the right. So that's something to be aware about. And at the back is the power input. Before I do anything with it, I think I need to read the manual properly. Okay, so now I have it turned on. And then I figured out that these knobs go here so that you can secure the vat in place. So the vat also has a screen protector. Alright, yeah, I guess I am ready. First thing that I need to do with the printer is to set the build plate height. So it comes with this paper that can be used for leveling. So here's the build plate. So it has this pattern. I'll bring down the Z-axis rail a bit so that you can see. Whoa, 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 that's enough. I'm kinda nervous. Okay, so the build plate goes here. we need to loosen the 4 screws. How loose? Whoa! I am not happy about that. That scared me. Okay, at least good thing I had enough allowance. Anyway, okay, you needed to loosen it first before you attach it to the Z-axis rail, and then place the leveling paper on the curing screen. So it is this one. Then click on home and then tighten the 4 screws. Okay, home. Z equals 0. 6 seconds. 5 seconds. Start. Alright, so install the resin vat. Okay, so I guess I am done with the setup, and of course I am well prepared for this. So I have my gloves. Okay, and then I have my alcohol ready for the curing, and then I have my resin also from ANYCUBIC. I can also smell it. It's quite strong. It's starting to print. I guess I should cover it. Ooh. Okay, so that's the first layer. I guess it's gonna take a while. It says here 3 hours. So I guess I'll go and check back once 3 hours is up, and I will update you guys on the result of the test print. So since my ventilation fan is turned on for the whole duration of the curing process, it's kind of noisy. So I'm going to be doing a voiceover for this part of the video. Here's the test print that I was talking about earlier. You actually need to remove the build plate before you scrape off the print, but I just got curious on how easy it was to take the prints off of the build plate, and yeah, it wasn't easy. So here it is being cured using the ANYCUBIC wash and cure station. Overall pretty good, and it's quite detailed. After completing the test print, I was quite satisfied with how it came out. So of course, I was super excited to print out some fun stuff, and I'm really happy because I found a few amazing Pokemon STLs for free. But yeah, I printed these Gen 1 starter Pokemons. So these models are created by Patrick Lee. Yeah, they're not my creations. Okay, so for this batch, I've actually gotten a video of the washing part. So there they are, and you can see the blade spinning around down there. And then here, I just took them out of the wash, and I'm peeling off the supports. And you can also see an Orc Samurai figure included in there, which is also not my creation. It's from Clay Collectibles. So I'll be placing links for both Patrick Lee and Red Clay down in the description. So please, if you're interested, go check them out. And then here's the curing stage. These prints came out okay, but I guess there are some issues on some parts. Like Squirtle over here, he has this line, and Bulbasaur. So the overall print is quite messy. I wasn't really satisfied with this. I guess you can do some cleanup and sand it down, but yeah, I know I can do better. So I wanted to do a reprint. But I do want to point out that these issues were not because of the printer. It was because I simply didn't know how to do proper support. Since these Pokemon models were not supported, I had to do them myself. On the other hand, this Orc Warrior figure was already pre-supported, so I just had to put it in the USB and print it out. So when I saw that this figure printed almost flawlessly, it gave me hope. and it convinced me to get to working on my skills. Just goes to show how important supporting really is. That's when I really focused and studied on how to properly do supports. I watched a few videos and read some guides, and it didn't take long for me to grasp the technique, at least for a little bit, enough to get a decent print. So now we are here. And I have 2 good prints that I am really proud of. So this is the Charmander that I focused on. I scaled him up a bit because I'm planning something for this guy. As for this figure over here, I have nothing else to say. It just printed perfectly and the details look good. I'm really impressed. Seeing this print out of my resin printer got me really excited. So, to wrap it all up, I have 4 main points. First off is the setup. So the setup of the Photon M3 and their wash and cure station was pretty straightforward. I didn't have any issues, so that's a thumbs up for ANYCUBIC. I guess they have been in the industry for quite some time now, and they've surely polished a few things here and there. So second, let's talk about build quality. And I can say the build quality is great for its price. The plastic doesn't feel cheap at all, and the Z-axis rail, which is really important for resin printers and 3D printers in general, it feels sturdy and rigid. Granted that this printer is on the budget / entry level, I cannot complain with its overall quality. So I would say that is a good thing. Third, I want to mention a few things about the software. The slicer tool provided by ANYCUBIC is quite basic. It's enough to get you printing in no time, but I feel like I'm limited on a few things. I've dabbled quite a bit on using Blender, and I can't help but compare the navigation and UI of Blender to ANYCUBIC's slicer tool. Don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing the function between the two. It's more on how you can move and manipulate things. It might probably just be my overall lack of experience with using slicer tools, but I just really can't help and feel like it's a little bit janky. I know there are other options out there, so I'm still figuring that out. So if you have any recommendations for slicer tools, please comment it down below and let me know. And then fourth, last but not the least, of course, is the print quality. The details on the prints are really crisp and clear, and I'm really impressed with the ANYCUBIC Photon M3 here. I actually printed this Orc Warrior to get an idea on how detailed I can get with this printer, and to be honest, it did not disappoint. For print quality, another thumbs up. So I guess just a few more thoughts regarding 3D printing in general. Despite the issues that I've encountered, I could say that everything went pretty smoothly. I mean, I expected much worse. The only really stressful part for me was regarding the safety measures, because liquid resin is really toxic. So I was really nervous handling them at first, but I just made it a habit to always wear gloves and a respirator, and eventually it became pretty manageable. Overall, it was a really fun learning experience. Checking back on the printer and getting to see the finished prints is really super exciting. I'm looking forward to more successful prints and I want to discover more things that I can do with resin 3D printing. So, if you are considering buying a resin 3D printer because printing figures like these interest you, I can confidently say that you don't have to be scared. The overall process is quite simple actually. You need to get an STL, print, wash, then cure. Although creating your own 3D models is an entire thing itself. So that's that. But yeah, if you just want to play around and get free ones or buy your own models off of the internet, then I guarantee you that you're going to have fun. Those are my first impressions or quick review of the ANYCUBIC Photon M3 and their wash and cure station. If you do have questions specific to the ANYCUBIC Photon M3, feel free to add them in the comments below, or you can message me and I will try my best to answer. So stay tuned, because in my next video I will be hand painting this Charmander figure. And yeah, that's it for this video. As always, thank you for your time and thanks for watching.